Why is fraud? Can you just hold them up, please?
There was once a man who walked into gyms, not surrounded by noise or attention, but wrapped in silence. He didn't arrive with pride, nor with bulging muscles, nor with a flashy camera crew recording his every move. Instead, he carried something humble, a mop. While others flexed before the mirrors, striking poses and competing for glances, Anatoly quietly swept the floor, his presence barely noticed. He moved with calm precision, each stroke of the mop reflecting discipline rather than duty. People saw a janitor. Few saw the wisdom behind his eyes. In the background, he watched, listened, and learned. Every grunt, every repetition, every drop of sweat was a lesson. He studied strength, not in how much weight someone could lift, but in how they carried themselves when no one was watching. What no one realized, however, was that this man had already conquered the heaviest burden of all, his own ego. Long before lifting a single barbell, Anatoly had fought and won the invisible battle within. In a world obsessed with appearance, he chose humility. In a place where many came to prove themselves, he came to understand himself. And that's what made him truly powerful. People laughed at him. They pointed, whispered, and smirked behind his back. Some even pulled out their phones, recording him as if he were a joke. "He doesn't even lift," they said, mocking the man with the mop, convinced they understood strength. But Anatoly never flinched. He didn't talk back. He didn't defend himself. He didn't need to. His silence spoke louder than their laughter. Because when your mission is growth, not applause, you learn that silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. While they wasted energy on judgment, he conserved his for purpose. Every day he came back, quietly, humbly, patiently. He knew that attention fades fast, but discipline builds something eternal. He understood a truth that few ever grasp, that real power doesn't need to announce itself. True power doesn't roar for recognition. It whispers through action, through patience, through consistency. And in that quiet, Anatoly was becoming something greater than anyone around him could imagine. One day, the laughter turned into something else, a challenge. The jokes had gone too far, and a group of bodybuilders decided to prove their point. "Hey, cleaner!" one of them shouted across the room, his voice echoing through the iron and sweat. They pointed to a heavy barbell resting on the floor, a mountain of steel few dared to touch. "Show us what you've got." The gym went silent. Phones were raised. Everyone expected another punchline, another viral clip to mock. But Anatoly didn't hesitate. He simply placed the mop against the wall and took a slow, deliberate breath. Then he smiled. Not a smile of arrogance, but of calm knowing. He began to walk toward the barbell. Each step echoed softly, steady, and unhurried. His eyes didn't flicker with pride or anger, only focus. There was no tremor in his hands, no trace of fear in his posture. He wasn't walking toward a challenge. He was walking toward truth. No ego, no show, just peace. The kind of peace that comes when you've already faced the hardest battles, and they weren't with iron, but with yourself. He stepped up to the bar and wrapped his hands around the cold steel. No gloves to protect him, no chalk to help his grip, no belt to support his back. Just raw hands, steady breath, and unshakable purpose. The gym froze. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. The clatter of weights, the hum of machines, all faded into silence. You could hear the air tighten, the kind of silence that feels alive, heavy with disbelief. And then He lifted. It wasn't just the bar that rose. It was everything that had ever tried to weigh him down. Every whisper, every insult, every mocking laugh. He lifted the weight of doubt, of judgment, of ridicule, and turned it into strength. The steel bent slightly under the force. The plates rattled and the floor trembled beneath him. For a few eternal seconds, time itself seemed to stop. Eyes widened, phones lowered, the same mouths that once laughed now hung open in awe. Every smirk, every sneer, every ounce of arrogance vanished, replaced by silence, respect, and a realization that true strength doesn't need to announce itself, it shows itself. He didn't celebrate, he didn't raise his arms or seek applause. He simply set the bar down with the same calm he had lifted it. The metal clanged softly against the floor, not as a victory cry, but as a quiet reminder of discipline. Then, without a word, he reached for the mop, wiped the sweat, cleaned the platform, and went back to work. That was it. No drama, no pride, just a man doing what he always did, giving his best in silence. Because Anatoly never lifted to impress anyone. He lifted to express something deeper, a strength that doesn't come from muscle, but from mastery. The kind of strength built in stillness, carved by consistency, and defined by humility. That day, the entire gym witnessed something they would never forget. They learned that humility isn't weakness, it's the highest form of control. It's when you have the power to destroy, yet choose discipline. When you have every reason to boast, but choose silence. When you stand victorious and still bow your head with respect. True strength isn't about domination, it's about restraint. And Anatoly showed them all that the greatest warriors are not the loudest in the room, but the calmest. Anatoly didn't just silence those who mocked him. He conquered something far greater. He defeated the loudest, most stubborn enemy of all, pride. The kind that blinds men, drives them to chase validation, and makes them forget why they started. Because ego shouts for attention. It demands to be seen, to be praised, to be recognized, to feel that our effort matters. But that's where the true test begins. Because real champions aren't made when the cameras are on. They're forged in silence, in the unseen hours when no one is cheering, when there's no audience to impress, and no reward in sight. That's what makes Anatoly different. While others chase applause, he chases progress. While others crave recognition, he pursues refinement. He's not trying to prove he's strong, he's trying to become stronger, not for the crowd, but for himself. He's not chasing noise, he's chasing mastery, the quiet pursuit of perfection that doesn't need witnesses, only discipline. And in that silence, he's teaching us all a timeless truth, that the highest form of greatness is doing your work so well that it speaks for you, even when you don't say a word. So the next time someone doubts you, don't waste your breath trying to prove them wrong. Don't argue, don't explain, don't let their disbelief distract you from your path. Just smile, that quiet, knowing smile that says, "You'll see in time." Keep working, keep building, keep moving forward in silence, because your effort, your discipline, your persistence, they'll speak louder than any words ever could. Remember this, the humble don't need to announce who they are. They don't chase validation. They don't shout their worth. They simply keep showing up, day after day, letting consistency do the talking. Because time has a way of revealing truth. And sooner or later, the world will see what you've known all along, that greatness doesn't make noise. It leaves a legacy. Anatoly didn't just lift weights that day. He lifted hearts. He lifted spirits. He lifted the very definition of what it means to be strong. Because strength isn't measured in kilos or repetitions. It's measured in character. in the way a person carries themselves through judgment, through failure, through silence. And in that single, quiet act, Anatoly transformed the gym into something greater than a room of iron and mirrors. It became a lesson, a reflection of the human spirit. Through humility, he reminded the world that power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it breathes quietly through calm eyes and steady hands. Sometimes the strongest man in the room isn't the one making noise, but the one at peace with himself. And in that silence, Anatoly became more than a man with a mop. He became a symbol of mastery, of discipline, and of the kind of strength that never fades. If this story moved you, if Anatoly's quiet strength stirred something inside you, write in the comments, humility wins. Because in a world that glorifies noise, fame, and ego, humility is becoming rare, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. Anatoly's story isn't just about lifting weights. It's about lifting yourself above judgment, above insecurity, above the need for validation. Share this video with someone who might need that reminder, someone who's been working hard in silence, feeling unseen, feeling overlooked. Let them know that what they're doing matters even if nobody's watching. Tell them that progress made in private is still progress, that growth born in silence is still greatness in motion. The truth is, you don't have to shout to be strong. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. You just have to keep showing up with humility, with consistency, with heart. Because life has a way of rewarding those who stay faithful when no one's clapping. Anatoly taught us that strength isn't only found in muscle. It's found in patience. It's found in restraint. It's found in the calm courage to keep going when others doubt you. He showed us that real power doesn't demand attention. It commands respect. So remember this. The heaviest weight you'll ever lift is not made of iron. It's made of pride, fear, and self-doubt. The strongest lift of all isn't done with your arms. It's done with your heart. And sometimes the most powerful sound in the room is silence. If you're walking your own path quietly, if you're working on your dreams while the world isn't watching, don't stop. Keep building. Keep believing. Because one day your actions will speak so loudly that silence won't be able to contain them. Stay humble. Stay consistent. And never forget, true strength doesn't need to be seen. It simply shines through everything you do.